if you're watching this video, most people will fail this challenge. And the challenge is to try to go 7 days without saying something negative. Now, it's not that I'm preying on people's downfall, right? I just know that most people will struggle or fail with this challenge or have to restart because most people are conditioned to think negatively. It happens automatically, whether it was their environment, whether it's the people around them, whether it's the information that they've seen or read online, right? Most people are conditioned to be negative. Most people are unconsciously competent at thinking negative, right? It is effectively their default setting, which is why most people will struggle with this challenge. Now, let's use an example, right? If you were to tie your shoes, you could tie your shoes blindfolded. You could tie your shoes while having a conversation with someone. You could tie your shoes while multitasking because you've tied your shoes thousands, if not millions of times throughout your life, right? And so because you've done it so many times, you are unconsciously competent at it, right? Before you learned how to tie your shoes, right, you were consciously competent, which means you were aware that your shoes needed to be tied. And as you were tying your shoes the first few times of your life, you had to learn from someone else and you had to actively think about how to do it while you were doing it, right? Think about a little kid when they're tying their shoes for the first time. They don't know what to do, right? And so while you're showing them, they're thinking about how to do the process because they haven't done it. But you watching this video, right? Chances are we're all adults, right? We have tied our shoes so many times that it's now muscle memory. We don't have to think about it. And so that makes us unconsciously competent at it because it's muscle memory. We do it automatically. This is the same idea for how people think. So many people have been conditioned to automatically think negatively, that they automatically think about worst case scenarios. They automatically think about, things going wrong or why things won't work out. And so as a result, they're not creating the life that they want to create because they're usually vibrating negative energy and they're usually thinking negatively, which leads to them vibrating negative energy, right? And if you were to take on this challenge, you see, the reason why this is quite a challenge for a lot of people, right, to go through this process is because going through this challenge of going 7 days without saying something negative, it requires you to be aware. It requires you to be aware of your thoughts and how you're thinking and the emotion that you're feeling. And it requires you to be present in the moment. And ideally, to be appreciative of the things around you. Because it is easy to find fault in things, right? Anyone can find fault in things. But if it's easy for you to find fault in things, then by law, it is equally as easy for you to find the beauty in it as well, right? Because that is the law of opposites. Without an up, there's no down. Without a hot, there's no cold, right? Without a dark, there's no light, right? So there's going to be opposites for everything. And if you can find the reason why things are going wrong or poorly or why things aren't working out, then by law, you can also find ways or reasons why things are going well and why things are improving and what, right? You can find ways to find the beauty in things as well, right? And you can condition yourself to think that way as well. It's just most folks are not even aware of their thought process or their thinking patterns, which keeps them in the same cycle of thinking the same thoughts and vibrating the same emotions, which keeps them in the same place in life. If you want to improve your life, you need to change your thinking. You need to change the way that you've been operating if you want to change your life. And there's many people who want massive leaps, like they want their dream life. They want it to be drastically different than the life that they're living. If you want a drastic jump or drastic change for the better in your life, then you need to make a drastic change in your life. And that always begins with the thinking, because your thinking leads to the emotions that you feel, which leads to the actions that you take, which ultimately creates the results that you have and experience. So if you want a drastic change in your results, you need to go to the catalyst. You need to go to the very beginning. And the beginning is your thoughts and your thinking. You need to change your thinking to be positive, to be happy, so that you can feel good. right? So that you can begin taking the right action and creating the right results. But also when you're feeling good and you're vibrating high and you're happy and you're feeling on top of the world, you begin to attract people, events, and circumstances in your life that match that same energy as a result of the law of attraction. So everything in your life begins moving in the right direction to begin unfolding for you exactly how you want it to be if you decide to choose to be happy. So this challenge, going 7 days without saying anything negative, most people would struggle in the first few minutes, the first few seconds, maybe, first few minutes, the first few hours, right? And they might have to reset many times. If 7 days might be quite an uphill climb for you, then do a 24-hour challenge, right? Give it a try. And the reason why you should give it a try is because it doesn't cost you anything, right? It can be a fun game because now you have to be aware of your thoughts and now you have to be present in the moment. And the power in this challenge is so that if your mind is fixated on thinking positive thoughts, so you don't end up saying anything negative, right? Because if you're thinking positive thoughts, then you'll be saying positive things. Not only will you have to filter through your mind, you'll begin to also realize how much negativity you expose yourself to, right? Online, on the internet, watching TV, through media, through advertisements, through all these things, and even through other people. You'll be more aware and more conscious of the things that other people say, right? You'll put more thought into it, and you'll eventually realize that most people don't actually think, because most people are conditioned to operate a certain way, and so most people go off of their conditioning, right? Think about the decisions we make or the actions that we take without thinking. That's our subconscious operating, right? Like, for example, there's some people that because they drive home to work and because they drive to and from work each and every day taking the same path, sometimes they'll arrive home and they won't even remember driving back home. That's their subconscious that took over. That's them operating without thinking because they've done it so many times, right? So many people live their lives operating through their subconscious, which means they're not actively thinking because that's their behavior that they were conditioned. You'll realize that people will say things without thinking. If people truly put thought into everything, they wouldn't say half of the things that they say, because for folks, a lot of times it can be either half or even more of the things that they say are in fact negative, right? You will realize that. And as a result, right, you'll become a lot more sensitive to that all. And you'll want to be able to, you eventually want to begin disregarding or getting rid of the things in your life that are negative, that are bringing you down, right? Like you'll begin taking, it'll be addition by subtraction. You'll be subtracting the negative things in your life so that you can live a life that's more positive, because you'll realize that this is how most people were brought up, this is how they were conditioned, and this is how they will continue to condition other people. And you don't want to share that same programming. Your life is yours to live, and you have the freedom to design your life the way you want it to be. So choose to design it from a positive perspective. Choose to design it with all things serving you, right? Use your mind and your thoughts to think about best case scenarios and the life that will serve you, the thoughts and the decisions that will serve you, so that you can live a life that's happy and fulfilling, rather than a life that was created by other people, that was created by people that put negative ideas and thoughts into your mind. Right? This is why this challenge is so powerful, because for most folks, it will force them to be uncomfortable. And that is what will happen if you're trying to change your programming. If you are conditioned to operate a certain way, we as humans, we're creatures of habit. And so we'll do things automatically, right? Chances are, for example, if, usually for most people who have a dominant hand, whether that's right or left, right? Usually we do most things with our dominant hand. We'll usually brush our teeth every morning with our dominant hand. We'll usually drink water with our dominant hand. Or if we're eating, we'll, grab the main utensil, whether it's a fork or a spoon, with our dominant hand. We'll use our phone with our dominant hand, because we are creatures of habit. And so when you're trying to change that habit, it's going to be weird. It's going to require you to actively think. The same way the first time a child is trying to tie their shoes, right? They're learning that to think about every move. You have to consciously think about the decision that you're going to make. You have to think about the thoughts, right? And that's going to be challenging. But the point of this all is so that you can recondition your body, to reprogram your body and your mind to be thinking positively, right? So that when you're thinking positive thoughts, that is unconscious competence. That is you doing it automatically so that you can better yourself, better your life, and create the life that you want to live, right? So this challenge is a lot more powerful than you think, right? Some people will say, oh, it's no big deal, right? But there's more power to it. This is so that you can retrain yourself. And the point of the challenge is so that you can figure out where you stand. So many people are just so accustomed to thinking negative because it's so easy and they can spot negative things, but that's because that's how they've been conditioned. That is their perspective. That is how they see things and view the world. If it's easy for you to spot things that are wrong all the time, then you'll find fault in other people and it'll be easy for you to find fault in the world, right? But with that same logic and that same idea, you can also find the good in other people. You can also find the good in the world if you choose to have that perspective. And it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of if you want to live that way, right? Because you can end up living a happier, more fulfilling life if you choose to find the positive and the benefits of all things, of other people and of the world, right? So give it a shot. If you're, a little concerned about going 7 days, and that's fine. Try it for 24 hours, right? It doesn't cost you anything. There's no risk associated or attached to it, right? It's just a challenge for you to get into the mindset of thinking positively, of thinking about the best case scenario, thinking about the things that you want and desire, right? And not saying anything negative, right? Because you don't want to contribute to the overall negativity of society and of the world, right? You can be a beacon of light and a beacon of hope for everyone, right? And that will help you provide value to other people as well, which will improve your relationships with other people and ultimately, allow wealth to unfold in your life as well, right? So this is to better all areas of your life, right? Give this challenge a try. You will see it will make it painfully clear how much negativity there is out there, and it will give you the option, right? If you want to separate yourself from it so that you can maintain your own peace and happiness, right? You'll realize that life becomes a lot happier, more relaxing, more fulfilling once you step away from the negativity and decide to just find happiness and peace, because that is why we were put here on earth anyways. So most people will fail. Realistically, most people fail this challenge, and most people won't even ever give it a try. But the people who do try, those will be the people who will begin to experience miracles and find, and amazing things will begin unfolding for them. But they will also find the amazement and the beauty in each and every moment. And these are the people that will truly be present and will pick and choose the thoughts that they want to think, and will be careful about the things that they say, because the things that you say have power, right? You'll be careful about the things that you say, and you'll be aware of what other people are saying, and you'll realize that so many people are just operating subconsciously, that they're alive, but they're not truly living. And you want to be truly living and truly present in the present moment. You want to be in control of your feelings and your thoughts, because if that's the case, then you are in control of your life and you're not allowing other people to be in control of that. So begin eliminating the negativity in your life, begin thinking positively, and this challenge is one way to help you get there. So I highly recommend you give it a try and let me know in the comments, what ends up happening or the experience that you've had from giving it a shot. So that rest of the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.